Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's surprise live. Coming to you from my full sweater onesie sleeper. And just late at night, I thought that I would just take a second to catch you guys up on what's been going on. Um, we just had a group meeting, and at Radically Healthy, we have a private community, and there's 8 calls per month. And we were just discussing like how everybody has the different pillars in life. Have you guys heard that? And that you can never have none of your pillars can be all the way to the top. You have to take a balance of the different pillars. And I feel lately like my pillars have been so wonky. And I've missed you guys. So I thought I would just catch you up on what's going on. And I got a lot of cool stuff to share with you guys, like way TMI as always, testing that I had done, and what's been going on over here, as well as like just whatever else I can. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to pop them in the chat. Today's video is brought to you by joinmochi.com. I have stuck with them. They have been a leader since the very beginning. They knew they were going to be attacked. They knew the fights would come. They knew that Big Pharma wouldn't put up with it, and they were ready and prepared, and they've taken the hits, and they've succeeded and become better and better. In fact, now instead of just GLP-1, they have a whole marketplace of medications that are kind of up my alley, where it's more of a natural thing that helps your body function versus a foreign drug type of thing. Like options like low dose naltrexone, which can really help calm your body so you can heal through diet and exercise. And it's just been life changing for me. If you guys would like to use them at all, use the code down below, 6XR0BB, or the link. Hey, from Fort Lauderdale. Hello, Coach Juliet. Thank you guys for joining me at very last minute here. So I was talking about the pillars. My pillars right now are um, soccer, or not soccer, hockey mom. I'm from northern Minnesota. We are the epicenter of hockey players, and I have two hockey players, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. And you would think that'd be pretty young, but it's pretty intense even at this age. I was just signing up for different camps for them, and the different special leagues, and then asking my hockey moms who are, that are, they've been through it for a long time, like, what are we supposed to do here? Because I have no idea what's even going on. And what are the tips and tricks to them falling in love with this sport and me being supportive of that? Both my husband and I, we were way into sports, but in the end, we didn't end up playing with them. So I think sports are great for goal setting, working hard, having a team, building confidence. But in the end, they're just sports. So anyway, hockey mom, swim team mom, Girl Scout mom. Then I've been going back to school post-bac pre-med. So I already have a bachelor's degree that focuses in business and marketing. That has nothing to do with being a doctor. So now I need to take all the science classes. So I started with aspects of chem. We'll go into that in a minute. Going back to school, started also traveling to the Mayo to talk to them about getting my gastric bypass reversed. And they do a lot of testing. It's so funny. When you go to get the surgery, they act like it's no big deal and this is totally reversible if you don't like it. But in reality, it's very difficult to get it reversed, and nobody wants to do it. And it's just a very uncommon surgery. So the guy here in our town said he would love to do it, but he's never done one before. Being I already have complications, I was like, I'm going to go to the most high traffic place. So I'm down at the Mayo. Can't wait to tell you guys about some of those tests that they've been doing. Trying to have two screens up at one time over here. Let's hear, what else has Adrian been doing? Oh, I am, without giving like too many details away, and don't get scared about what I'm about to say. For the first time, I am representing myself in court, in family court, pro se. I've never done that before. I've always had an attorney, and that was very expensive. And so, being that what we're going to court for is not a big deal, it's hopefully we can work together and just find more clarity in the situation is really all that's needed. Hopefully everything will go okay, but I'll let you guys know. Why I'm even mentioning this is it's a big deal because I went through it in a not so good way for about 8 years, and I ended up with PTSD from it, and I did the tapping therapy and other things to stop having like PTSD from years and years of court. And these days, it's just I'm in such a different place, and I'm so grateful to God for giving me the tools that He has so that I can come to things in a more calm manner, and also to recognize when to give it to Him. And so, if you guys are prayer people, send a prayer that everybody just work together and that the best interest of everyone, of the kids, is what ultimately happens. So, so much on my plate. So much. And so I haven't been live here in a month, I think. And this is why. It's been a lot. Hello from California. Oh my gosh, you guys must be so nice and warm. It was -14 here this weekend. It was so cold, and we had a Girl Scout cookie booth, and, my fingers, I got Raynaud's, and so, like, all it wasn't just that they froze, it was that, like, all the nerves shut off, and I couldn't feel anything. It's so cold here. We still have snow, I would say waist high, and where we live, it'll get, like, warm for a day, and we're like, "Oh, spring is coming, yes!" And everybody will whip out their T-shirts and stop wearing their snow pants and jackets and boots, and then we'll get a blizzard, like, the next day. I think March is, I think, our heaviest snow month of the year, so just so excited for that. So hopefully you're enjoying that sun. Let's see here. What else is going on? I like bringing up that prayer thing again. Another thing that we've had checked out is that Grace had a lump on her leg, and she never said anything because she never makes anything a big deal ever. And to be honest, had I saw it, I would have thought you must have bumped yourself, but she's had it for years. And we took it in, and she has I think it's called an osteochondroma, which is a benign bone tumor growing off the side of her leg. And it's in the way of tendons. So it causes her a lot of pain. And because it's made out of bone, it'll never go away. So she's going to be having that removed over spring break. So if you just want to send some prayers that all goes well with that, we'd greatly appreciate it. Um, it's not something we could therapy away. It's not something we could leave because of what it's stretching, and it's causing bruising and pain every time she does her swim team or does her or plays soccer. So lots of medical stuff going on over here, but praise the Lord, all things that are fixable. Let's see here. If you guys need any Girl Scout cookies, I put Grace's link down below. We sell cookies for another week or two, I think. Grace is in 7th grade, and I've kept her in Girl Scouts because she actually transferred schools. She was going to a Catholic school, and she got transferred to public school. Um, Long story. And but she's kept those friends from her original school, and I just think that's so sweet and precious. They were together for like 7 years or 5 years or something before she transferred, and so I just keep her there because those are really good friends, and they do community service, and they go on adventures, and I just think it's such a healthy thing. So, I haven't sold cookies since I went carnivore, but this year, I'm not as, like, stiff. So, if you would like some cookies, links down below. We ship nationwide. Or, I have an immediate family member, prayer request again, who is in the war zone right now. And so I'll be collecting donations to send that family member and anybody in her troop some cookies and hopefully brighten up their time. So, link down below if you guys need any cookies. Big news, you guys. Tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time in the free community at Radically Healthy, Dr. Amy Horniman is coming. And this isn't like one of those calls where it's just two people talking and you get to listen. It is like a Zoom type thing, except it's on the Kajabi platform. So if you have questions or anything, I will be recording it, but I will have Dr. Amy and I pinned, so no faces will be in the recording. And if you guys don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know Dr. Amy, but if you don't know her, she is a leading expert in hormones and thyroid. She's been helping people through PCOS, perimenopause, menopause, and just really changing their quality of life. Chronic fatigue, skin issues, hair brittle, chronic UTIs, struggling to hold urine, not sleeping, low libido, all the things. And you go to the doctor and they tell you that your labs are normal, and you're like, but I am barely functioning. She talks about what labs could we draw that are different and who could we see. She's leading expert, her team, on really getting people optimized. But also the next part is we found the great person, but how do I find the right spot for me? How do I find the right tools for me? How do I know what tools aren't working, what they are? And she is amazing. 63 and sunny. That sounds phenomenal. I loved California. It's just the perfect weather. So yeah, Log into radicallyhealthy.com, free community. There's a tab that's called Meet Up, and you'll see Dr. Amy there. She's actually coming to our group twice, once this month, once next month at different times based on when you're available. You can come to both of them, honestly. We're going to talk about different stuff each time. And I mean, what an epic opportunity. I hope you guys will join us because I'm so excited about this. I don't know if you guys heard, like in the peptide space, that RFK Jr. was on a podcast, and he said out of the 19 peptides that were banned under the Biden administration, 14 of them are going to be approved for compounding in the next couple of weeks. This is big and exciting because on December 31st of this past year, the bunch of companies got threat letters and to pull a whole bunch of inventory. And so the direct to consumer, you can find those companies in the free community. It's pinned on the top. The companies I vetted. They pulled a lot of the good stuff and it's been hard to access it. So here are some of the peptides that might come back. BPC 157, it's a favorite of mine. Reduces inflammation, helps the brain, gives me energy. It just feels so good. LL37, that's amazing for people who have chronic infections. Like I'm not saying any of this is diagnostic or medical advice, but people with SIRS will often take LL37 to ward off the infections that took over when the immune system came down due to the inflammation. Epitalon is an amazing one. It's a longevity one for overall health. GHKCU, amazing for your hair, skin, nails. It's a anti-aging, I would say. Ipamorelin, amazing for muscle, building muscle and losing fat, anti-aging. We were just talking about this in our group tonight. KPV, amazing for us autoimmune people, just reducing that inflammation, allowing our system to build up our immune system to have a break. It's amazing. Also, thymosin beta 4. I think that's probably going to be the fragment. I don't recognize the name of that fragment, but we love TB 500, and that's one of the fragments of thymosin beta 4. Thymosin alpha 1 is also amazing for immune system, and then you have, there's way more, but my next favorite are CMAX and Slank. They're just amazing for the brain. Speaking of brain, let's talk about school. So I'm almost 42 in 2 weeks. March 14th, 1984 was my birthday, and I will be turning 42. And I decided that I should go back to school to be a doctor at almost 42. So my plan was to start low and go slow, just like with peptides, right, guys? And so I started with aspects of chemistry, which is a college chemistry class, but it's just below general chem, which is what I actually need to get in. And my thought was, the feedback across the board is Gen Chem is a killer. And people say the concepts come so fast and it's hard to memorize and you just feel like you can't breathe in that class. And so I took this aspects of chem first to give myself, since I haven't been to school in 20 years, to give myself a break and hopes that when I get into Gen Chem, I'm at least familiar with many of the topics. And it's been great. I think I have 100% in the class. Like, and that makes it sound so easy, but really I'm taking one class and I really care and I find it interesting. And so I do study and I read every chapter a couple times and I make cards and I'm using Notebook LM to create quizzes and lectures I can listen to while I'm driving. And so I'm immersing myself in the content so that I can really understand it and memorize it. I have my second test this Wednesday. So this week is like stressful. So we started nomenclature and balancing chemical equations. Exciting stuff, huh? So how am I doing this? Because I've had perimenopause. I had the bad virus, and ever since the bad virus, I've had dementia level brain fog and fatigue. A couple things. A huge one that really changed things is SS31. This is one that they actually pulled from the direct to consumer, but Emily at Elevate Health and Hormones, she told me this week she could get it, and the price is amazing. The price is better than what I was paying. So when you email info at Elevate Health and Hormones, I have her info below because she also does thyroid and hormones and she's amazing. Tell her I sent you. She'll give you a great deal. And I mean, it's a third of what I paid on the direct to consumer. Now it is a big cost, but that's for the entire, that's you doing a higher therapeutic dose of this for 8 weeks or doing a lower dose for much longer. I mean, what SS31 does is help repair the structure of your mitochondria. so that your body can produce ATP the way it's supposed to. It struggles when mitochondria is broken. They say 80% of Americans have broken mitochondria. And I mean, it's made a huge difference. So it's not a caffeine, it's not a stimulant. It's a repairer of the actual machine that we need to have energy. So since I'm on my second round of that, and it has made such a difference. And I was so sad that they took it away from direct to consumer as of 12/31/25, but finding out Emily has it, I mean, even better, even better. So reach out to her, get your life back, get your energy back. It's a once a day subcutaneous. The other thing is called Cerebroneurogen. And I got this, there's a vetted source in my group, but you can send me a message too. This is huge. I did a pretty low dose of it for 2 weeks, and I feel like a kid again. I feel like me again. Like it makes me want to cry. I feel like me again. And part of me wonders if I did 5 iron infusions in January. Is it the iron infusions? But the reason that I'm like, I don't know if it is because I had iron infusions 18 months ago and I still was suffering. I was still the same exact iron. I do sucrose iron. It's a slower iron, so you got to do 5 instead of 1 or 2. But it's more tolerable to a sensitive people. Um, so it's just Cerebroneurogen. I only did 2 weeks, and it's only because of because we had the Mayo and the travel, and it just and then I was like, well, when I get back from the Mayo, I'll just start it again. But the effects of it have lasted. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save it because I think I'm good for now. Like I'm really catching on to things, able to memorize them. Today I was memorizing poly polyionic compounds and, you know, ammonium and nitrate and nitrite, sulfate, sulfite, all the different it's actually sticking. So I think that these tools are making a huge difference in me being able to, and then the other one that I'm doing is I do something called Trosomna. I get it from Troscriptions. It's a practitioner grade, which again, the info is down below. And what that has done is made me actually deeply sleep. I'm not talking sleep through the night. I'm talking, I was already sleeping through the night with Emily's help. But my sleep score was still low. And I implemented the Trosomna, and now I'm getting several sleep cycles. Like it's saying I'm having a healthy sleep. And the reason I know that that's right is because I wake up and I feel like I'm ready to go. And so getting through those sleep cycles, not just laying there all night, but getting through those sleep cycles, I think is also helping my brain. So it's amazing. Anyway, okay, let's see what you guys have here. Dr. Amy is awesome. Oh, you had a horrible experience with the endocrinologist. And she replied with compassion and a lot of help. I was wondering why you chose the MD path as opposed to nurse practitioner functional med path since you love peptides and alternate. This is a great question. I'm not offended by that at all because that was actually the first thing I thought. Well, as you guys know, I do like a little health coaching. And so I love that. I feel like some of the people who've coached me along the ways have looked into things that I have and didn't brush them off and had tools and suggestions to really look at the root of the problem instead of maybe masking the root. And so I've always loved that. My last baby, I birthed him at home in our bathtub and we stayed skin to skin for 6 weeks. And I hired an unlicensed midwife intentionally because she was able to freely practice and she had done so much research and she had birthed so many babies that I felt I learned more from her than ever. I mean, I think I am where I am today because of her. So I definitely think there is such an amazing place for all these practitioners that are out there, no matter what their credentials are. So my first thought was health coach, but then as I got to know a lot of health coaches, I ran into people who have a ton of fatigue because you have to be a full-time marketer plus do the coaching, and it's just now all of the media is against coaches because they want people who have MD. And so they're actually suppressing, and this is something that is very, if you can find this out there, this was something that came up, I think, in Congress, that big media was allowed to start suppressing people who don't have credentials. And so you'll see, and I've talked to other coaches who, like, all of their numbers either flattened or went down. And then especially if you talk about peptides like I do, we are so suppressed. It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying that as a poor me, I just give up because it's an uphill battle. But anyway, so burnout. And then in my journey, I have found that there were several times where I needed medicine and a health coach couldn't give that to me. Like a good example would be low-dose naltrexone, fluorostyramine, uh, ivermectin. Let's see here, what else? Of course, GLP-1. And so I think that there's a time and a place for medicine. So I want to be a prescriber. And also with health coaches, they will take, like, I know some health coaches who are so educated, but don't be fooled. They spent $100,000 if they add up all of the education that they did. They spent a lot of money on the education, and in the end, they still can't prescribe money or prescribe money. Who's prescribing money? I'd like to know. I'd sign up for that. I'm just kidding. They can't prescribe medicine, and they will often try to make up for that with supplements. And then the other thing is then they will have to pay someone to be their prescriber. So ultimately, I want to be a prescriber. Okay, so why not nurse practitioner? That's actually the first thought I had because technically I could be a nurse practitioner in 3 years. Well, I went and interviewed some of my nurse practitioner friends who did the accelerated program. And their feedback was like I heard 3 different things like over and over and over again. One was they are not it's not that they're not respected, it's that they're treated like a resident MD forever and ever and ever and ever, even though they're doing the same work. Like they're seeing patients, they're prescribing medicine that they never got that. They were treated like they are a resident who's still in training. Another thing is, of course, the pay. I mean, it's not all about pay, but you see these nurse practitioners working so hard, studying so hard, helping all these patients, and they get paid a half or a third of what the counter doctors are getting paid. But the biggest thing of all is that ultimately what nurse practitioner was created for is registered nurses who have time on the floor, who've seen medicine, who've been with patients, who've seen what doctors are doing for a decade or two. And then they take that experience they already have and they add an additional education and they become a nurse practitioner. And I don't have any of that. And so I feel like I would be really unprepared to serve people one-on-one if I just went through a 3-year program. And that was another thing that the nurse practitioners had said was that they felt like their job was so stressful because they didn't have the support and they didn't have the residency. And they thought that they were going to get so much more training and so much more direction that they were. And instead they were just thrown into seeing patients. So I'm sorry, that was way too long of an answer. So ultimately, I'm going to take the plan is I have to make it through an MCAT, chemistry, org chemistry, biology, biochem. I got to make it through all that and an MCAT. And then I need them to disregard my undergrad GPA from 20 years ago and only look at mine today. And on top of that, you're supposed to be with patients. Like you're supposed to work a job basically while doing all this hard schooling. So if I can make it through all of that and actually get accepted into an MD or a DO school, I would gear towards doctor of osteopathy because their training is more in systems and they believe in body manipulation for relief of patients. And I'm all about that, all about it. So that's why I picked MD because I would like to come to help patients. I don't know how many MDs are coming from a place of I've been there and I believe you and we're going to find solutions, And then I want to be an advocate for obesity because most of the medical world is not treating it as a condition. They're treating it as a laziness, a gluttony, a behavioral issue. That's how most of the medical system is treating it. And I would like to be there to treat it as what it is a lot of time. I'm not saying all the time, And that's where we get the confusion here, because there are some people who maybe just eat McDonald's every day and they don't put any time or effort into their bodies, and they slowly decline over time. But that's not who most of the people I hang out with are. They have been putting in the work, putting in their research. They've been restricting, they've been watching, they've been getting their sunlight, getting their sleep, moving their bodies as best they can. We all have something where we're like, I'm just not perfect enough. Every single person has that. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people doing a lot of good things, and it's not working because it's the actual condition. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. What else do you guys have? I'm so glad you caught me too. I agree with that. As a nurse that was going to continue to be a nurse practitioner. DO, yes. Hey, Thomas. Um, yeah, so I think that I'd be shooting for DO. DO is very a little bit more accepting of non-traditionals, but I think I have a really interesting story too. Like the whole, I was on The Biggest Loser, struggled with obesity, even went carnivore, and eventually found my way to a combination of medicine and lifestyle. I think it's a good story. I'm sure I'll word it better when the time comes on why that means I want to be a doctor. But so hopefully, I mean, I have 100% in my first class, so I got to just keep it up. I've also been researching like how do you succeed at the MCAT, and so I already bought some of the study books, the Kaplan book, because this one guy that was a genius, he said that what he did was actually go through the Kaplan book and go through the card decks as he was taking the class to really, really nail the content into his brain. And then on the next semester, just compile onto that. What most students do is, grind their way through each class trying to get, A's. And then when they're done with it, they go to study and they don't remember much of it. I'm gonna guess that could happen to me too, but and so then they go through this series of like 8 or 12 books, and they spend 3 to 6 months doing that, relearning everything. So my hope is like make it as solid as possible would be my hope. Let's hear what else we have. Yeah, so in to round it back just a second, why MD versus nurse practitioner? Not because there's anything wrong with nurse practitioners. I've had amazing nurse practitioners, amazing. And I think especially the ones that have had a lot of patient interaction, they're phenomenal, but I haven't had patient interaction. So, um, my hope would be I need that residency. And then ultimately, I worry that I don't think it's ever going to happen because nurse practitioner fits the insurance model so well to be able to see more patients, um, and not pay them what I think they deserve a little more personally. But anyway, I don't think it's going anywhere, but the way that it came on so fast, I wonder if at some point they would take, because some states don't recognize nurse practitioners as an independently operating person. So I just wonder the stability of it as well. So, and then I had my friend, and I need to post her video because I did an interview with her explaining all this. Dr. Jen Flagar. She is a phenomenal woman. If you don't follow her, phenomenal. You guys will love her. She wrote the Perimenopause Reset, and she is an MD, and she's functional. She's double board certified in integrative medicine and emergency medicine. I mean, the woman worked on the life flight. How can you do that? Like, she's so amazing. So, I was telling her my plan to be a nurse practitioner, and she's followed me for a while. I followed her, and she was like, I've heard your heart. I think you need to do the residency. I think you need to do it. I think you need to be a doctor. And I was like, who would say such a thing? Then because I just thought, like, if you're not 20 going for it and you're not a straight A student when you're 18, you can't do it. I mean, doesn't everybody believe that? That's what I really believed until she said that. And I was like, you really think I could do this? She does. So, hey, buddy, I'm live. Do you want to come say hi? Because you're my future NHL hockey player.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Porter. He is in first grade. He's learning to read. He does a really good job of reading, and he's an amazing hockey player. And maybe one day he'll play for the University of North Dakota. Yeah?
Yeah.
Amicus. Okay, I gotta keep reading, buddy.
Hey, Mom, we slammed the computer on my hands.
Oh.
Yeah, and they hurt.
Okay. I love you. I'm almost done. Okay, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about some of the testing that I had done because I think you guys will. Sorry. I think you guys will find this interesting, okay? So to have your gastric bypass reversed, they do a lot of testing. To get insurance to cover it, they want to see everything. So one of the tests I did, I put a picture of it on the thumbnail, and I forget what it's called, but you essentially have to have like contrast everywhere, and then they fill your colon, also known as the rectum, with this goop, and then you sit on a commode on an x-ray machine. So as you see, like instead of the bed, the x-ray bed being flat, the x-ray bed is up and down, and then the commode is right here. And so the radiation technologist or doctor stood right next to me as I was all covered up, and he said, "Okay, push it out." And then we watched on the video. We watched it together. And yeah, weirdest test I've ever had done. Anyway, it was interesting to find out that I actually have a pocket, and that is part of the problem. That was part of my problem here. You've had it done too? Oh my gosh, it wasn't that bad. It sounds horrible, but I was all like I was covered up with 8 different blankets. It was almost as big as this sweater here. And so it didn't feel intrusive, even though it was very interesting information because the concern was with this other test that I did that I had no nerve function in there. And we were able to find that the problem isn't that I have no nerve function, it's that I have an extra pocket that has no nerve function that's not supposed to be there. Very weird, like 4 centimeters. It was big. Anyway, another test they did was the endoscope, and I was having nightmares about this because a friend of mine told me, Michelle, if you're here, you know what when she had it done, you had to be somewhat awake, and then I guess you had to swallow it, and I don't know if this was like 20 years ago or how long, but so I'm like, I had nightmares about having to swallow a tube with a hard plastic square on the end, and no, thank God. They said they put this thing in my mouth like a O, and they put the thing over my nose, and I felt like a pig or like a stuffed pig that they were gonna put on the Turner thing. And they put this thing in my mouth, and they said, "Okay, have a nice nap." And then I woke up a little bit later. It really wasn't that bad. Anyway, what we found out is that I have a beautiful stomach. There are no ulcers, which I was hoping because I don't take ibuprofen. I don't do the smoking and the drinking and stuff. So they checked for ulcers because they said stress can cause ulcers. And I'm like, ooh, that I have. So anyway, it was nice and pink. My stomach after gastric bypass is 2 inches. Thought that was interesting. But also interesting is that it didn't have a defined end to it. And the problem there is what I've been experiencing. Your food is supposed to sit in your stomach, and mine does not. It passes right through. So that is part of the reason that I probably have reactive hypoglycemia so bad. And I had it from the beginning. So I didn't stretch it out. That's how it healed. Um, you're supposed to have that gastric fluid there. You're supposed to have time for your body to have, insulin and glucagon signaling and PKK and all the different things. And instead, mine is just sliding right through. So the first thing that the doctor offered was to actually sew it tighter because that would slow things down like a natural stomach. And I was like, listen, I want my intestine back. I don't yes, I want the hypoglycemia resolved, absolutely. The hypoglycemia destroys my life, it controls my life. It is, a very similar condition to type 1 diabetes. I do create insulin, I create way too much, which causes me to be chronically low. And to go I mean, I have a CGM now, which by the way, did you guys know you can put your CGM on your thigh? I got it on my thigh right now, so much better than the arm. Um, I still go high, like 300. And I used to go down, like, within a 10-minute span, 300, and then all the way down to maybe it's a 20-minute span. It's very condensed, 30, 40, 50, and up and down and up and down and up and down. So I'd like it reversed to control that, but also the anemia and the chronic fatigue and the chronic adrenal issues. I want my stomach back. So I had a rectocele that had to be mapped before surgery. A rectocele. Did I say that right? Very interesting. Ooh, Then the next thing they did was an MRI of my midsection to check my bile ducts because I was having white stool for like a month. It cleared itself up. Interesting, if you guys didn't hear on a previous live, when we went to Hack Your Health, I went off of my GLP-1s. And I was just like, I was also spreading them out before the conference. So I'm spreading them out. And then while we're there, I just like don't take it. And then for a month, I had white stool. And I thought, as soon as the white stool came, I was like, you know what? It could be the GLP-1. So I definitely won't go back on it. So I stayed off of it. The white stool continued, white stool. This is concerning. This is bad. Like, that is a red flag. It's one thing if you have one because you ate something. It's another thing when this goes on for like 4 to 6 weeks. Finally, my blood sugar is so bad, I go back on Trizepatide and it completely cleared up within a couple of days. So this GLP-1 isn't just helping me with blood sugar. It's not just helping me maintain a healthy weight. It's also helping my digestive signaling be coordinated. So one of my problems, though, we were able to capture on a CT and now on an MRI that I have something called intersusception of the intestine. I don't know if it's uncommon or not. Like, Google says it's uncommon, ChatGPT says it's uncommon in adults, but according to my bariatric surgeon, he was like, not uncommon. But so your intestine telescopes inside of itself, which causes, a partial blockage of the bowel, can cause some of the bile issues. So anyway, they did the MRI and I was able to find out that I have that intersusception near where they put my gastric bypass second stomach thing. So the reversal should help with that. Also, they said my pancreas looks good, so there's no pancreas issues, gallbladder issues. My gallbladder was distended, so it was full of sludge despite fasting. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was my liver has tiny cysts. If you Google that, it says that that's kind of normal, but it still seems weird to me. Like, I'm a bad detoxer. Is it because of my tiny cysts? And they say that you could be born with them. So anyway, I found the testing to be so interesting. Then I met with the doctor. I'm sorry for rambling so much, but maybe you guys want to know, did Adrian get approved for her reversal? When I went in there, he said that they only do a few of them a year because they deny 99 out of 100 people. And he went through the whole thing, but I had done so much research that every turn he came, I had an answer, a thought out answer on it. And he said, I have a case. And then he set up when Grace has her surgery at the same time, because the Mayo likes to clump your appointments together because so many people are traveling. I'm going to see an endocrinologist, the nutritionist, and the psychologist. And the very next day, I'm going to have a virtual appointment with him. So I'm thinking that these appointments are check boxes because he said I had a very strong story. And the endocrinologist will be able to tell if my hypoglycemia is like a disorder from endocrine or for something else, or if it's from the surgery, and then that further solidifies my case. So I think I'm having the surgery reversed, you guys. And I'm pretty excited about it because I'm so tired of my cortisol being 0, my chronic fatigue, my nutrient absorption issues, and my hypoglycemia. I'm so tired of it. I want my intestine back. I want my stomach back. So I'll talk to him about like one of the complications when I had this in 2013 or 2014. So I'm 12, 13 years out, is a potential for gastroparesis. So I need to discuss the options with him, what he thinks is the best for me to get my nutrition back, get my blood sugar back, get my cortisol and my adrenals back, but not have gastroparesis. So, yeah, so all interesting stuff. Let's hear what else do I have over here? Let's see. I feel like I had so much more I wanted to tell you guys. If you guys need any meetups or you want to meet me, there are 2 opportunities coming up, maybe a third one. So the maybe is, hey, you guys, just one sec, okay? Hack Your Health. I might go to that. I don't know. But my for sure, Karen Miles has a meetup in right outside of Chicago in Naperville. And it's one of the first weekends of November. Will do, buddy. It's one of the first weekends of November, and I will be going. If you need some details, check out her account. She tagged me in a post on Facebook. Don't look at what he's drinking as he just picked up a pop. It's a diet pop, but that doesn't necessarily make it any better. Anyway, and then the next one, which is so epic, is meat stock. And that you can go to meatstockconvention.com, use code radically healthy to save $50. There's still a lot of convention tickets, and the housing around there, that what I'm hearing, because I have several friends who are booking houses together, Airbnbs, is that it's very affordable to get an Airbnb or a hotel in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And yours truly is going to be on 2 different panels. So it's going to be so much. Last year it was just epic. Oh, and the people cooking the food are phenomenal. It's Ashley and his brother Brett. They do a lot of the cooking at the Healing Humanity things. They did the cooking last summer at Steak and Butter Gang, Bella, her Montana meetup. And I mean, they cooked like 60 tomahawks absolutely perfect. I mean, they are such good cooks. So when I say cooks, I'm talking about there's like a VIP dinner option. If the tickets are sold out on the website, I would join the group because people bought tickets before they sold out. Hey, buddy, just a second, okay? Porter, go see Grace. People bought tickets to save their spot before it sold out, but then like life happened. So there's definitely tickets available. Join the group. Let's see here. Yeah. So I think the boys are saying it's time for me to go to bed. I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. If you guys aren't doing anything tomorrow, noon Central Standard Time, free group, radicallyhealthy.com, Dr. Amy Horniman, rockstar Dr. Amy Horniman is coming. And maybe we can find a missing piece that'll make you feel better. But either way, thank you guys again. If you guys could please like, subscribe, and share, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great night. Goodbye. Oh, oh.